Hey, how you doing? My name's Nick, and this is Nick Tips for Everyday Life. Basically, it's tips, advice, instruction in your hands. You can take it or leave it. Um, it's from my personal experience, education, refinement. I've experimented with things, see how, what works, what doesn't, and then some stereotypical things that people do every day and still do, like I've wondered why they do it, why I should do it. And I've found better ways, more efficient ways to do it because, people, a lot of the time they do some things that are stereotypical that basically it seems like everybody does. And they're basically dealing with the same consequences of not trying to do it a different way or a more appropriate way or a more efficient way. Um, and that's where it's important sometimes to play around with things to see what works. So I'm just giving you my tips, my advice, and take it or leave it for what's worked for me, and maybe it'll help you. Now, it is advice within reason. Okay, so I don't want you to take it out of context. I don't want you to misuse it. I'm putting it in your hands that basically you either use it or you don't. Don't use it in a bad way. Don't use it out of context. It is no substitute for a healthcare professional as far as your health. I'm not a doctor. I can't give you an MRI or a CAT scan or an X-ray. Um, I can give some advice in that area, but you know your body better than I do, or medications that you take or whatever. So you want to ask your doctor about certain things when it comes to things like that, or say you have a legal problem. I can give some advice in that area, but I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. Um, so you want to ask, legal advice from a lawyer. So that's why I say advice within reason. Um, just keep it within reason. So Nick tip number one is ask the right questions. Okay. Um, well, some questions are very simple, and everyday. Like say you go to your favorite ice cream shop and you haven't been there for a few months, and they have four new flavors, right? And you're looking at them, and you see two that you like, right? Or two that look interesting to you, and one is say chocolate truffle rocky road, and the other is mint chocolate chip blackberry swirl. Let's just say that, right? And so the wrong question might be like, is that good? Is that good? And now a testimonial might help, but what employee at that place is going to say, well, no, that is not good. Neither one is good. Don't try them at all. They're disgusting. Um, who's going to say that? The right question will be to go straight to the heart of the matter, which is, can I try it? Can I have a free sample? And usually the answer is yes. So let's say you get a sample of the chocolate truffle rocky road, and you try it and you love it. I mean, it's great. It's delicious. And then you ask for a sample of the mint chocolate chip blackberry swirl, and you try it, and it's good, but it's not as good as the chocolate truffle rocky road. So you ask the employee to give you a like a couple of scoops of the chocolate truffle rocky road, and maybe put some whipped cream on it or some nuts, or like a cherry. Everybody has their own thing. um, and so yeah, basically the right question in that scenario is, can I try it before I buy it? Very simple. Now another one, a little bit more complex, is say you're asking yourself, tomorrow, what time do I want to wake up? So what time should I set my alarm? Um, Now, this is the scenario. You have to be at work at 9 a.m., okay? And you know it takes you about an hour to get ready for work. And you also know that it takes you 30 minutes to drive to work. And then you're also thinking that you want to be 15 minutes early for work, so you can be on time, but better than on time, and you can be a good reflection of you as an employee. Now, this doesn't always happen. I've been late, and sometimes something spontaneous comes up. Sometimes I haven't, accurately examined how much time I have, to get to work, and things that I have to do, and so sometimes you're juggling things. Sometimes spontaneous things come up, but basically, when you prepare ahead of time, you're not rushing in traffic. You're not angry that people are moving too slow. It can help, with the efficiency of the matter, the situation. So you get to work in a timely fashion, and you're preparing for anything that might come up in the way. Because what if there's road work on the way to work? But anyway, getting back to the scenario, it takes you an hour to get ready. It takes you 30 minutes to drive to work, and you want to be 15 minutes early, so you want to get there at 8:45. So 8:45, 30 minutes to drive there, that'll be 8:15, and then an hour to get ready, which is 7:15. And then you're thinking to yourself, well, I should set my alarm for 15 minutes earlier than that to give myself just a little bit of extra time. So I'll set my alarm for 7 a.m. And then I'll set a second alarm for 7:15 just to make sure I wake up to my alarm. And so that's what you do. So the right question is, when do I need to set my alarm to wake up to be at work, like on time, at an appropriate time? And so you've answered it by asking the right question. You've efficiently handled that situation. Now, another situation might be, you want to start a bank account. You walk into a bank and you're considering starting a bank account there. And you see the credentials on the wall, and you see they're accredited, and so you're sitting down with, say, a teller and or a bank associate, and you're asking them, this might be the right question. Why should I choose this bank over other banks? Another question you might ask is, what is the interest rate on your credit card? Your credit cards. What about, like if I go to another country, can I access my bank account from another country? Can you help me build my credit? How do loans work here? Do you have enough available ATMs to where I can get cash if I need it? If I'm using someone else's ATM, how much is it going to cost me at this bank? Per transaction, and that smaller stuff. But these are certain questions that you're going to ask. The right questions, and the main one being, why should I choose this bank over other banks? And another one might be, why do I need a bank account? Sorry. Why do I need a bank account? Why do I need a checking account or a savings? And it saves you time. It's very efficient, and you won't have to deal with the consequences of finding out that bank is not good for you. It doesn't. They don't have a bank like that across the country, or it can't be used in another part of the world, or they can't really help you build your credit, or you can't get a loan through them, or whatever. Anyway, here's another one. You're trying to buy a car for your purposes. So one thing you might consider is, okay, what do I need a car for? That's the right question. What do I need a car for? Right? Now, if you're hauling lumber, if that's part of your job, then you might want to buy a truck, right? But trucks often get bad gas mileage. So if you're going for a car or a vehicle that gets good gas mileage, you might go for a four-door sedan that might get like 27 miles per gallon, to like 30 miles per gallon to like 35 miles per gallon, or even better than that. And then, while you're at the car dealership, you might have to ask the question, Is there anything wrong with this car that I need to know about? And then another question that you might want to ask is, can I do a test drive, to see how it handles and stuff like that? And then another, right question to ask is, can I take it to an independent, mechanic, basically a mechanic that you don't know and that you're not in cahoots with, that's just going to give me a false report so I buy the car, but an independent mechanic so I can get this car checked out and make sure that there's no major problems, and so I can feel confident buying this car. And then another question might be is if there's things that need to be fixed on the car, can that amount be taken off of the sticker price? Because what if there's, I don't know, well, let's just say it this way, a ton of problems with that car, and it's going to cost you, hundreds of dollars, if not thousands of dollars to get those things fixed, and the sticker price is, say, I don't know, $8,000, and you're having to put $3,000 into it to fix it. Maybe you can, ask them, can we negotiate here, because I'm immediately going to have to spend about $3,000 to get it fixed. Can you at least, take off $2,000 or even $3,000 off of the sticker price so I can, fix it, and it'd be worth it. And these are just questions to ask. I've been in a situation where I was paying on a car always on time. At least that's how I remember it, and I paid it off and everything like that. But there were so many problems with it, and I thought I was buying a good car, but I wasn't, and I had to deal with consequences. And so these are these are tips, these are questions from my experience, from my education with that and other, situations, and education, research, studying, asking others, and and asking mechanics, and getting under my car myself, and stuff like that. But anyway, excuse me just for a moment. I gotta check the time on the video. Okay. Now, getting to the meat of the asking the right questions, I'm gonna move it along here. This hits home for me, like dating. Basically, like, say when you meet someone, and you have to first consider, if they like you, do you like them back? Are you really attracted to them? Do you like the personality? And do you want to take them on a date? Is it worth it to take them on a date? Because, are you just going to play with their emotions because you don't really like them or something? So, it's important to ask the right questions, Me, I like a beautiful woman, between the ages of like 25 and 30, a Christian woman, and, so, like, the first thing that I ask, and usually guys ask, is, am I attracted to her? And, I'm sure it's the same for girls too, to some extent. Am I attracted to him? Can I see myself with him long term, type thing? You have to also ask yourself the right question. Is this person, do they want what I want as far as short term or long term? Do they want marriage? Or do they just want to play around? There are plenty of people out there that just want to play around. They just want, something temporary so they can move on to the next person, which is their own choice. I'll say that. Me, I'm a Christian. I'm all about marriage, but doing it the right way, not necessarily, being like, let's jump into it and just get married and, da 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 da. I want to fall in love with someone. And I know that sounds mushy-gushy, but I'm a romantic guy. I'm looking for the right woman. These days, they're not that easy to find. But yeah, so I have to consider asking the right questions about that, certain person I might be going on a date with. And then if you try any dating apps, you might have to consider, say you're talking to someone and you're attracted to the profile pics, you might have to ask this question. If I meet them in person, do they look the same in person as they do in their profile pics? So maybe you can video chat if they're not immediately available to go on a date. But usually, this is the other question that you would ask. How soon can we go on a date, or is this conversation just going to drag out? Then you have to also ask yourself, are they serious? Because I met girls on there that, on dating apps that basically they're on there to make friends. It's the weirdest thing that they even put it on their profile that that basically they want to meet new friends and they don't want anything serious, and it's weird. It's like, why are you on a dating site? Why are you not on Facebook or Instagram or something? Dating sites are for dating. I've actually told that to a few women. Like, if you're not here to date, why are you here? It's a dating site. So those are right questions to ask. For me, being a single guy looking for the right type of woman, that I'm attracted to, that's a Christian woman, within, like between like 25 and 30, give or take, but usually that is exactly what I'm looking for. I have to ask, does this woman fit that profile? And that's not too much to ask, as far as those criteria. It's not like I'm, saying that she has to be, has to have black hair and blue eyes and, has to be, I don't know, 6 foot and, be a supermodel and, and own her own business or, make $500,000 a year or, all kinds of very specific things. And, and her friends have to be, these type of people or whatever. Now, friends is another part of the, criteria when you're looking at someone. Is basically, you can tell a lot by a person by the friends that they keep, because if their friends are, wild and doing drugs and, alcohol and they're cussing all the time and stuff like that, you can probably see how that they are and what they tolerate and what they want to be around. And there's probably going to be some clashes there if you're not like that. Anyway, asking the right questions will save you a lot of hardships. So if I meet a woman that is beautiful, that is, say, between the ages of 25 and 30, she might even be, 23, 24, or she might even be 31, and I just, love the way she's, talking, her personality. I can see myself, looking into her, her cute face and being like, oh, she's so beautiful, and seeing that we have, same interests and things like that, and that, she wants to be married one day and, possibly have kids, and she's a Christian, those are right questions to ask. But anyway, getting to more of the meat of this, other questions that you want to ask, that's vastly more important is like, what is the meaning of life? Now, a lot of people stop right there and be like, nobody can answer it. It's just one of those hypothetical questions. What is the meaning of life? How high is up? Does a circle go, infinitely around? Does eternity ever end? Or can God, create a boulder that even He can't lift, or something like that? How many angels can dance on the head of a pin? They treat it as some fairy tale or, hypothetical, question that can never be answered. But it is actually important to ask that question. It's the right question to ask. Does life actually have meaning? And that in itself is connected with other questions, like, is there a God? Because if there's a God, He created all things, and therefore He gives life meaning. He created it. Like, if I were to create a painting, which I have painted, I have a painting that I did around here. I'm trying to find where I put it. Excuse me for a second, I'll show it to you. Okay. Yeah. So, this painting, and it's one of my first, so please go easy on me if you don't like it. Other people can look at it. You can look at this painting, okay, and say, I was thinking of, I don't know, colors, or something. I was just trying to be colorful or something, or I was thinking of the beach, or I was thinking of whales, or I was thinking of, a sunset, or any number of things. But the thing is I painted this painting, okay? And so therefore the meaning resides with me. I painted it, and so the right question would be, okay, let's ask the painter, what is when he painted that painting, what is the meaning of the painting to him? Because he is the one that painted in that meaning, right? And for me, the meaning behind this is I was thinking of, the beach and the ocean and a nice sunset. I mean, the transition from light and, from day into night, and, the sunset, the twilight, time, but also on kind of another planet. So it's, kind of fantasy type thing. And then some other stuff I included, but I gave it its meaning, you know. And it's the same with the meaning of life. If there is a God, and He created everything and He sustains the universe, and the meaning resides with Him. Oh, and I have to check the time on the video real quick. Okay. I'll have to hurry this one up. Not every segment is going to be this long, but I'm just getting started on Nick Tips, and I may change the name of the channel, or I might keep it the same. I haven't decided yet, but it's still going to be the segment's going to be the same, Nick Tips. But anyway, let me get back to this. This is Nick Tip number 1, and that is ask the right questions. Okay, so another right question is, why do we die? Okay, because we do die, and it's important to ask. Now, a lot of people just stop right there, and be like, we die, it's just a certainty. What does it matter? But the thing is that therein lies the problem. Like, what is life made of? Why are we here? Are we just, do we just come out of nowhere? Is the universe an aberration? Is it just something that just blinked into existence and it's going to blink out just the same way? It's just going to experience a heat death, or did we evolve? Because that has to do with life. Did I come from a monkey? Did I come from a tadpole? Like millions of years ago? There's tons of questions we could come up with, but asking the right questions, like why do we die? It's very important. Asking, is there a God? Okay, that one can solve a lot of the other questions that are just that fall underneath that question, like evolution. If there's a God, there's not evolution, because He created things, and He created things in a very specific way, and He sustains it. So, and then there's also proof behind God, and lies a question as well, is like, is there proof of God? Is there proof of Jesus Christ, who is God? And that's a whole nother conversation. I have another channel that is called Spiritual Meat, and if you want to talk about biblical issues, about God, about Jesus Christ, about the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, then I will be talking about that on Spiritual Meat. But anyway, getting more to the point of this, asking the right questions is efficient, okay? And it's going to save you time, and it's going to save you trouble. You can learn things the hard way. I have plenty in my life. But when you ask the right questions, also don't be afraid to, how do I say this? Don't be afraid to ask the right questions. Don't let your ego get in the way. Don't just think you're right. or say you're right because that's what you've been taught or that's what you've read, but then there's like another um, piece of information out there that says that this thing that you think that you're right about is wrong, and don't just say, well, no, that's wrong because I'm right, but you can't prove it. You were just taught it, and in your ego, you're like, I'm right. No matter what, I'm right. No matter what you say, no matter what you do, no matter what information you put in front of me, I'm right. No matter what, you're just the right questions are completely thrown out because you're not basing anything on evidence. You're just basing it on your own ego. You know. So that's another part of this. I want this to be about evidence as well because my other channel is an evidence-based channel. When I give you these tips, it is advice within reason, but I do have a certain amount of evidence to prove what I'm giving advice on. And please comment, give your own suggestions, your own advice, things like that. Tell me how I can do this better. I am going to try to make this a lot quicker in the future with future videos. But I'm getting used to it, so please stay with me. And tell me if you liked it, and if there's anything I can improve, or if there's any other settings that I can do the videos. I am thinking of a few different settings to do it, and maybe mixing up the videos to where I can have a guest. Things like that. I used to have a YouTube channel. It was called Talk Show. And I did have guests, and I played a keyboard a little bit, and I talked about current events and movies and things like that, and I might just start that one up again, and I might even change the name of this channel to that so I can pick up where I left off, because I can incorporate things like, Nick tips into that, so that might be where the direction of this goes. But it's still going to, this segment is going to be Nick tips. But anyway, this first one is about ask the right questions. Don't be afraid to. It does take courage, but it's going to save you a lot of hardship, a lot of time. If you have some type of ego thing going on, consider laying it down, and asking yourself,